Hello my beautiful people, welcome back to another video. I am going to be telling you all of the juices and secrets of how I was able to revert my PCOS. It was a long journey. It's story time. So I was diagnosed with PCOS at the age of 23. I remember like it was yesterday because I went to my gynecologist appointment, my yearly checkup, and you know, they're doing all the exams and stuff. And at that point, I started noticing that I was getting like facial hair. But a lot of my family members, honestly, they have like facial hair worse than mine. And I thought that it was almost like normal. I thought we were just a very hairy family. I'm not kidding you. I really thought that we were just a very hairy family. So these were my symptoms. I had facial hair, I had irregular periods, and I gained a good amount of weight. I think I was like 207, 210. Oh, and I was borderline diabetic. Oh my God. I received so many bad news in that same day. She recommended for me to get an ultrasound on my boobs to see if I had any cysts in my boobs and cysts in my ovaries to be able to diagnose me with PCOS. A week later, I went to get an ultrasound of my boobs and my pelvis, and come to find out I had cysts in my ovaries and cysts in my boobs. So I was trying to do like the little checkup that you're supposed to do. My grandma, she had breast cancer, so I was like hyper aware of my boobs. I really am. Like I'd be checking just to make sure I don't feel any bumps or not. So it seems like those cysts were really small. I didn't feel them. Maybe I didn't even know what I was looking for. So a week later, I get a call. I had to go back in person, and then they told me that I did have PCOS. They didn't provide me with a lot of information. It was very frustrating. I was completely lost as to what does that mean. I think I was just young and naive, and I felt like I was going through this alone. And I'm like, and then at that time I'm like, you're the doctor, why aren't you providing me with more information? And I'm like, what can I do? And when they said you really can't do anything, I think that was the most devastating part for me, because I was like, what do you mean I can't do anything? I was like, there's a problem, how can I fix it? Like, and then they went breaking down like, oh, you're gonna have difficulties conceiving. Honestly, for that one specific thing was the one that I didn't care about. All of my adult life, I didn't want any kids. So when she said I was gonna have difficulty having kids, I was like, oh, I don't care about that anyway. So, okay, whatever, next. But then she was like, oh, you know, you're gonna have difficulty losing weight, insulin resistance and all that stuff. And I'm like, man, I already struggled with my weight all of my life. And now you're gonna add this to the plate, really? So then she was like, oh, you know, I can prescribe you with metformin. She said this is gonna be my life, right? And there's no solving it. So I was like, are they trying to have me metformin for a very long time? I was like, no, I don't even want that. So I got out of there. I was crying. You know, I was so devastated. I was really sad, guys. I was really, really sad. I think I was most sad about is, like I said, not having a solution to this. I went through life. Then after all that, I was having a hard time losing weight when it used to be so easy for me to do it when I wasn't diagnosed with that. Like I just had to stop eating after 6 a.m. and I would see weight loss without even exercising or anything. Not eating so much rice. I'm Dominican, guys. My favorite meal is rice, beans, and chicken. Arroz con pollo y habichuela is my, just thinking about it, I get goosebumps. I got engaged. I wanted to feel my best for my wedding, and I wanted to transform my body. So I started working out with my husband, and I did some research on the Whole30 diet. I think the Whole30 diet and the combination of my exercise that I was doing with my husband was what helped me revert PCOS. So the Whole30 allowed me to learn a little bit more about my body and what inflames me and what not. Since I was a little girl, I knew that I was lactose intolerant. My mom is lactose intolerant. My grandma is lactose intolerant. My aunt is lactose intolerant. I think my brother is the only one who's not lactose intolerant. I knew that from the get-go, but your girl loves some cheese. And I love bread. And I love milk. I love hot chocolate. Dominican hot chocolate is a difference, guys. All the things that I normally would eat in like on a regular basis, those things I knew that it inflamed me, it gave me stomach ache, it even ran me to the bathroom, but I would still continue to consume them. I want to read what Whole30 is all about because I want to be able to provide you with all of the info. Whole30 diet is a 30-day elimination diet designed to help individuals identify food sensitivities, which I had a lot of. It resets their metabolism and establish healthier eating habits. It definitely did. During this period, participants eliminate a range of food that are considered inflammatory or disruptive to digestion and overall health. These include added sugar, including natural sweeteners like honey and maple syrup. And I always say, guys, you know those meals that say no sugar but they're still sweet? I am like super skeptical about that. I'm like, give me the sugar, because my body is going to be able to digest that and know what it is. But when you put like things that your body don't recognize, it doesn't know when to release insulin and when not to release insulin, and that can mess up your insides. So I always try to stay away from that anyway. Like when you see stuff that says like no sugar but it's still sweet, think about it. You can't consume alcohol, you can't consume grains including wheat, rice, oats, etc. You can't consume legumes. How do you pronounce that? This is where my Dominican comes out. Spanish is my first language. I should have Googled this. Legumes. You figure it out. So it includes beans, lentils, peanuts, and soy products. Dairy was the big one for me. Can't consume with the exception of clarified butter and ghee. Baked goods, junk food, and treats made with approved ingredients to avoid creating unhealthy habits. You know what your junk food are. I don't have to list them for you. Honestly, personally, I'm not a junk food eater. I didn't even grow up eating candy like that, so I don't even eat candy. So things like that wasn't like hard for me. What was the hardest was the fact that I couldn't consume bread, which I love me some bread. I couldn't consume cheese, which I love me some cheese. When it rains, like heavy rain, all I want is some bread with butter toasted and hot chocolate Dominican style. That's all I want. That's all my body craves when it rains. Don't ask me why. It's a Dominican thing. The diet encourages the consumption of whole unprocessed food like vegetables, fruits, lean protein, especially meats, seafood, and egg, healthy fats such as avocado, olive oil, and nuts, and herbs and spices. Whole30 is for you to eat as clean as possible. So if you're going to season something, if you look at the back of the Italian seasoning container, depending on the brand, it might just have like those herbs and nothing else, like no additives, no sugar, no salt. Sometimes it's just the herbs and that's it. At the beginning, it was very overwhelming. I have to like check everything. And then I get overwhelmed, like, okay, so what can I eat? Because you know when someone takes away from you, you feel like you don't have a lot of options. But let me just tell you that Whole30, there's so much options. And I got into a habit of eating almost the same thing almost all the time because it was just easier and I didn't really have to think about it. But at the beginning, I was following everyone who did Whole30, and on Instagram, Whole30 recipes. I will make different things and it will taste delicious. But I decided that that wasn't for me and my lifestyle at the moment, because I had a very busy lifestyle at the moment and I needed something simple, simplistic, where I can log it into my fitness file. That was another big thing, because even though you're doing Whole30, I definitely recommend for you to pay attention to your carb intake, because it can be very easy, because Whole30 allows you to eat carbs, right? And fruits, which has a lot of sugar, is very easy for you to overeat some sugars and overeat carbs. Even though they're healthy carbs, they pile up in your body. It may affect how much weight you can use. And I think that was one wrong thing that I did. If I can go back, something that I could do different. I'm actually doing it differently now because I'm doing Whole30 currently. But back then I knew that I was consuming a lot of sugar with my fruits because I like tropical fruits. I'm a tropical gal. Pineapple, banana, and those fruits have a lot of sugar in them. Even though they're natural sugar, they still have a lot of sugar. So now what I try to do is I try to log everything into my fitness pal. I was doing that, but back then I was doing it as I was counting calories and not macros. This time I'm counting macros and not so much calories. And when I'm counting macros, my calories tend to fall where I want them to fall anyway, because I'm counting macros and I can't consume that much carbs or that much sugar or that much fat in order for me to be able to reach my goal in a timely fashion like I'm currently doing right now. The goal is to eat these food exclusively for 30 days, after which participant can reintroduce eliminated foods one at a time to observe their body reaction. This helps to identify food sensitivity or triggers and promote long-term healthy eating habits. It has definitely helped me with my eating habits and understanding that, like for me growing up, green was barely in my plate. Like I never had nothing green or really ate that much vegetables. The Whole30 diet is often used as a reset for your body and mind, emphasizing in mindful eating and eliminating unhealthy cravings. It is very true. I want to say that, you know, when you consume sugar, like you get like the sugar rush and all you want to do is like have more sugar. With the Whole30 diet, after I did the Whole30 diet, because I did it, even though it says for 30 days, in the blog that I read, it said that she did it for a whole year. And you know, and I had a whole year before my wedding, so I wanted to do this for a whole year. The first week was rough because you overload. I mean, I overloaded myself with a lot of information, a lot of recipes, and I was trying to make it fun so I don't get bored and I can stick to it. But the reality is, I would recommend for you to just go day by day or go week by week. For me, I wouldn't think like, oh my God, I have 12 months that I have to stick with this. No, for me it was like I have week 1. I just have to make it through Sunday, Monday through Sunday. I just have to make it through Sunday and be good. That's all I have to do. And on the weekends, what I used to do is, you know, you can eat unhealthy with Whole30. So on weekends, I would have like fried plantains. That was like my cheap meal. Even though I was still in the Whole30, I was eating like fried plantains, no vegetables. Like fried plantains with like fried fish, and make sure that I fried it in the oil that I could use with the Whole30. Like I said, you can be unhealthy with Whole30. So I used to make like cheap meals because honestly, I would get tired of eating like so healthy sometimes. So that's what I did. I did Whole30 for an entire year. It regulated my hormones. My hormones were all over the place. The Whole30 diet before my wedding, and then after my wedding, I went to an endocrinologist because I was still struggling to lose the weight that I wanted to. And when they did blood work and everything, I had to wait like 2 months for that appointment. And I'm thinking that it's gonna be a revolutionary thing. Like she's gonna tell me what I need to do, and my blood work is gonna come with my hormones all regulated still, because it's so hard for me to lose weight. No. My blood work was completely fine. My hormones was regulated. I didn't have any thyroid. Everything was great, but I was still struggling with the issue of losing weight. So yeah, guys, that's really what I did. I worked out 6 times a week, sometimes twice a day. I did the Whole30 diet to the T. When I say to the T, I mean to the T. There is no cheating, no nothing. And I told you what my cheating meals were. My cheated meals were within the Whole30 diet. And I was never inflamed. My body was never bloated. My skin cleared up. Oh my God, my face did a 360. It was like big pimples everywhere. And after I did the Whole30, my pimples definitely got better. Like they're gone. They're definitely gone. And that's because I was able to regulate my hormones. So they're definitely gone. I don't have any cysts in my ovaries. I don't have any cysts in my boobs. Like I am free of PCOS symptoms, but I still feel like I still deal with the facial hair and having a hard time losing weight. So that was it, guys. I hope this is helpful. If you have any questions regarding like what did I eat specifically or anything like that, would you like me to create a video about that? Comment below. If you have any questions about anything that I just said, comment below. Thank you so much. If you have made it to the end, let me just give you a hug, okay? Are you ready? Here's a hug. Thank you so much for sticking by. I hope, you know, this information serves you well. I hope that this, if it's not something that, you know, might help you, maybe might help a friend. That's like one of the reasons why I decided to come into this YouTube space and share my story. So thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye. Adios.